The culture and cuisine of Italy. Millions of immigrants came to the United States from Italy between 1880 and 1930. Although many of these immigrants were farmers in Italy, most settled in cities in the United States and labored building railroads, subway systems, and city streets, or worked in service occupations. Neighborhoods of Italian immigrants called Little Italies were found in many cities. Eventually, the tastes and smells of Italian foods attracted other Americans and Italian restaurants became popular. Today, Italian foods have become such a common food in our nation that ingredients for Italian cooking are readily found in every grocery store. Italy is located in southern Europe. It is a boot-shaped peninsula that extends into the Mediterranean. It includes the islands of Sicily and Sardinia. The Alps run along the northern border of Italy. The Apennine Mountains run from north to south along the east coast, from Tuscany to Calabria. The nation is bordered on the north by France, Switzerland, Austria, and Slovenia. Italy is divided into 20 different regions, each with its own distinct culture, customs, and cuisines. Beautiful landscapes are seen along the mountains and coastlines. The climate of Italy is mainly Mediterranean. There is more snow in the north along the Alps, while it is hotter and drier in the south. Inland, it is cooler and wetter in the winter, while drier and hotter in the summer. Agricultural products of Italy include fruits, vegetables, grapes, potatoes, sugar beets, soybeans, grain, and olives, as well as beef, dairy products, and fish. Butter and other dairy products, rice and meat are common in the northern regions. The main crop of the northwestern region of Piedmont is rice. Herbs are grown in the region of Liguria. The region of Emilia-Romagna is Italy's largest producer of wheat. Ham and sausages are also specialties of this region. Olive trees grow on the hillsides of the Apennine Mountains. Olive oil, fish, beans, and vegetables such as artichokes, eggplants, bell peppers, and tomatoes are common in the southern regions. There are numerous sites to tour when visiting Italy to experience the artistic and cultural output of the Italian Renaissance period that began at the end of the 14th century. Art, sculptures, bridges, and buildings are found throughout the country. The Italian Renaissance began in Florence, which today boasts the world's finest artwork from the period. Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper hangs in the church of Santa Maria della Francesca in Milan. Venice is a historic center with magnificent palaces, monuments, and churches. The capital city of Rome is a must-see for museums and churches full of world-famous art. It is in Rome where you can see Michelangelo's frescoed ceiling depicting the Old Testament and the Last Judgment on the altar wall of the Sistine Chapel. Other top tourist sites to view in Italy include the Colosseum, the Venice canals, the remains of Pompeii, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and the Pantheon. Music and dance have always been an important part of the culture of Italy. Italy has played a significant role in the history of European music. The violin and piano were invented in Italy. Opera, many musical terms, and the musical scale originated in Italy. Italian folk music is diverse, representing the history, language, and ethnicity of specific regions of Italy. Other musical influences include classical, baroque, and religious music. Italian peasants wore simple, practical clothing. Men wore basic pants and shirts, while women wore skirts and blouses with a flat-topped hat on which they carried baskets to market. Those with wealth wore similar styled clothing but had richer fabrics and colors. Wealthier women also wore more jewelry. The traditional costumes of folk dancers were colorful embroidered pieces. Since the 1950s, Italy has become well recognized in fashion. Milan, Florence, and Rome are the main hubs of fashion design in Italy. Famous Italian designers include Valentino, Armani, Versace, Donatella, Prada, Gucci, and others. Family is of great importance to Italians. Relationships among family members are close. There is a strong connection with extended family and great respect for the elderly. There is often a high level of involvement in extended family members' lives, and some extended family members even live together. Traditionally, members of an Italian family are expected to respect family and to perform daily duties. It is important to uphold the family reputation. Marriage is respected, especially for those who are devout Catholic. It is customary to have extended families dine together on Sundays and for holiday celebrations. Eating is a leisurely affair. The mother takes pride in preparing Italian cuisine with the same ingredients and recipes that have been used for generations. The majority of people in Italy are Roman Catholic. Roman Catholic traditions are commonly practiced in many life events such as birth, death, and marriage, as well as holiday celebrations. Many Italians routinely attend weekly Mass in one of the churches or cathedrals found throughout the country. Local celebrations may honor a patron saint. Christmas and Easter are important holidays celebrated in the Catholic faith. Christmas Eve may be celebrated with a feast of 7 fishes. A special dessert, pantonea, a fruited coffee cake, may be served on Christmas Day. At Easter, a bread with hard-boiled eggs still in the shells may be served. Roman Catholics in Italy often observe fasting during the Lenten season. Traditional fasting practices require not eating meat any day during the Lenten season. However, some observe this practice only on Fridays. Fasting for some also includes not eating any chocolate or sweets during the Lenten season. Few national holidays are celebrated in Italy. However, there are a number of festivals related to the foods of Italy, including spaghetti, zappoli, a fried donut, porchetta, risotto, and truffles. A traditional breakfast in Italy is light, while lunch is a multi-course main meal of the day. Dinner is a lighter version of lunch that is served later in the evening, 7 to 8 p.m. The light breakfast may consist of a cup of coffee with milk, tea, or a chocolate drink that is served with a pastry or bread and jam. The main noontime meal is started with antipasto, an appetizer, followed by a wet course of soup and a dry course of pasta. Meat, fish, or poultry, along with side dishes of cooked vegetables and breads, are served as the main course. Italians generally drink wine with their meal, and children may even drink wine that has been diluted. Heavy desserts are only served at special occasions. A daily dessert may consist of fruit with cheese, or pastries or biscotti. After the meal, coffee or espresso may be served. Italians appreciate good food, and they shop daily for fresh, high-quality ingredients at a variety of shops and outdoor markets. The markets will sell local ingredients that are in season. Markets are usually open daily in the cities, but may be open only one day a week in a small town. Although grocery stores and supermarkets are found in Italy, the foods there are not as fresh as in the market and specialty shops. Cooking styles and ingredients vary depending upon the region. Pasta is popular throughout Italy. There are hundreds of different shapes of pasta. Pasta may be fresh or dried, but no matter what type, it should be cooked al dente or slightly resistant to the bite. There are a variety of breads, also including frittata, ciabatta, and grissini. Italians eat lots of seafood, but also prepare beef, goat, lamb, pork, veal, poultry, and eggs. Meat is used in smaller quantities than that of the United States. Many Italian adults are lactose intolerant, so they may not drink milk. However, they do eat cheese and use dairy products and desserts. Common Italian cheeses include mozzarella, provolone, ricotta, parmesan, and romano. A variety of fruits and vegetables are available. A variety of herbs and spices are used, including parsley, basil, thyme, rosemary, sage, tarragon, oregano, coriander, black pepper, and bay leaves. Shallots, onions, garlic, vinegar, olives, lemons, sun-dried tomatoes, and olive oils are used as seasonings. Soil, climate, and cultural influences impact the foods of the different regions of Italy. In the agriculturally rich northern regions, pastas are often fresh and may be stuffed with meat, cheese, and vegetables. Cream sauces are more common. Dishes of northern regions use more butter and dairy products. Rice and risotto dishes are common in the northern region. In the northwest region of Piedmont, rice and fish dishes are well known, as well as sparkling wines. The region of Emilia-Romagna is known for homemade pastas, sausages, and Parmesan cheese. Lasagna is a favorite in this region. Although prosciutto is made in many locations, one of the most famous meats of the region is prosciutto di Parma, which is made only in Parma in a very controlled environment using specially bred pigs and sea salt. The Tuscany region is known for its simple home cooking style with minimal use of sauces and seasonings. Rosemary is the most common seasoning. In the agriculturally poor southern regions, olive oil is the main cooking fat, dried pastas are used, and it is common to serve pasta with a rich, spicy tomato-based sauce. More fish, beans, and vegetables are used in the southern regions. Lamb is a commonly used meat, however, fresh fish is available along the coast. Naples is known for simple pizza made with a thick red tomato sauce and mozzarella cheese. The volcanic soil on the island of Sicily is excellent for growing citrus fruits, olives, and grapes. Some pastas are strongly flavored and may be served without a sauce. Heavy, rich sweets are enjoyed in the South. Common Italian desserts include cannoli, tiramisu, gelato, spumani, and panna cotta. For the dishes that I prepared for this unit, I started by making a tomato basil pasta, which is a very fresh pasta without a lot of sauce. Very simple common ingredients are used. For basil, I showed how to chiffonade the basil leaves by stacking them together and rolling them like a cigar. When you slice this, then you have less bruising to the leaf and nice even pieces of basil. It's a little bit easier on the basil than to chop it. To start the recipe, I boiled and drained my penne pasta, and then I started sauteing my chicken in olive oil. The pieces of chicken cook very quickly on medium-high heat. You can make this recipe without the chicken as well. To season this, I added in garlic salt. Once the chicken is cooked through, I removed it from the skillet in order to use the same skillet to prepare my sauce. To prepare the sauce, I started with olive oil, and I sauteed my minced garlic. I added a can of petite diced tomatoes and allowed this to cook down a little bit. I also seasoned this a little bit more by adding some Italian seasoning, dried Italian seasoning. The original recipe called for oregano flakes, which I did not have in the cupboard, so I used this as a substitute. You need to give about 5 minutes for that to cook down and develop flavors, and then you add back your cooked pasta, as well as the cooked chicken. And this doesn't take long to heat through. Just a few moments. Stir it together and allow it to heat through. To finish the dish, you add in your chopped basil and your fresh mozzarella. I use mozzarella pearls, but if that's not available, you could cut up fresh mozzarella into pieces, or even use a brick of mozzarella in pieces, or string cheese cut into pieces. You don't want to cook this long because you don't want the mozzarella to melt. So again, it makes a nice fresh dish. The next recipe I made was fettuccine alfredo. It was a typical Alfredo recipe with lots of butter, heavy cream, and Parmesan cheese. This one also had egg yolk added to it to thicken that a bit. It's helpful to grate your own Parmesan and you'll get a smoother texture from this. I served the Alfredo on fettuccine that I made by scratch. It was the first time that I made homemade pasta using a pasta roller. I dried the fettuccine for about 15 to 30 minutes while I was preparing my sauce. When you cook your fresh pasta, understand that you need your water boiling and that it only takes about 2 to 3 minutes for fresh pasta to cook. I served that with shrimp scampi. This particular recipe called for uncooked shrimp, but I used cooked shrimp and just added it in for a shorter time. This recipe also had red pepper flakes that were optional. I did put those in and it added quite a bit of spice to the dish. My family also liked the garlic butter in this dish to put on the bread. For the bread, I made a quick Italian bread that is prepared in a food processor. It does the simple kneading and then you roll that out into the loaf. You allow it to rise And then it suggests spraying the loaf with water or placing a water bath in the rack beneath the loaf as it bakes. I didn't have anything to spritz it with. I just used a brush to brush a little bit of water on that. And it was a nice chewy bread with good flavor. I also made a lemon ricotta cheesecake. The recipe that I made took additional cooking time. It was having difficulty setting up, it finally did so. So I created this recipe from a combination of two other recipes. And I used vanilla wafers from the original recipe as the base for this. This recipe has more cream cheese, a little less of the heavy cream. I also added in more lemon zest and lemon juice to this to bring out a brighter lemon flavor. So this was a very good dish. The ricotta in it gives it a little bit more of a grainy texture than a regular cheesecake.